Hi, welcome to Maverick News. I'm Brad Campbell. School is back in session and Maverick News will be covering all of your Norwood news. Our top story this week is the new baseball field and new modifications to our football field in the sidewalk in front of the weight room. Reporter Blade Harrigan caught up with Ken Watt for the entire story.
So Ken, is the baseball field done with, or do you guys still got a couple more things to do?
I wish. It's been a long summer. No, we've got a few more things to do out here. The dugouts are going to be the big one. Just waiting to tear out first base, and then we're going to pour a new slab there, pour a new slab over the top of third base dugouts, and then start laying the block for those. The scoreboard still has to go in right field on the wrestling building. And there's a few smaller things, you know, a temporary outfield fence has to go in. Next week, the concrete on the north side of the wrestling building will be poured. And that's about it for here, for phase one. And the way we did this grant was, it was a two-phase grant. And it had to be two phases because you can only get so much money from GOCO, the lottery dollars, per grant cycle. So we wanted to do it in two phases. So we did the first phase here with the turf, fencing, dugouts, scoreboards, concrete out there. Next phase, next year, is hopefully we're going to receive that, but we do have to reapply. Next year would be new lights for the complex. So all these poles would come out, all the lights come out, all the wiring would be underground, and I think there's 13 poles out here right now, and they're about 50 feet tall. We'd have 7 new poles that are 60 feet tall. And that's phase two of that grant. It's a $250,000 project to do these lights, but it'd be no cost to the school system to install all that.
Norwood High School has a new math teacher, and Sienna Hubner has the introduction.
Hi, I'm Sienna Hubner with Maverick News, and this is our new math teacher, Ms. Britt. Welcome to our school.
Thank you.
So, you were just sitting here with this string and the students moving around. Can you describe that?
I can. What we were doing was a physical demonstration of an ellipse, and it is a figure that has 2 foci. And I was using it to show that the definition of an ellipse is the set of all points that are equidistant around those 2 foci. So it was actually a real nice way to visually understand when you look at the formula, which we're going to do next week.
Awesome. So you're new to here. Where did you come from?
I come from the Front Range, and I spent the last 16 years in manufacturing, actually, and then they closed my plant last September and moved the work down to Waco, Texas. And I decided that I didn't want to live in Texas. I wanted to stay in Colorado, and if I could, get to a more beautiful part of Colorado. And I think this area is amazing, and so I just feel entirely fortunate to be here.
That's awesome. What was your manufacturing business about?
I was in quality for Corrugated Box Company, and I managed the quality system, which involved a lot of statistical process control. So my background is in applied mathematics. So I'm happy to be back in the classroom because I can bring an applied or a practical approach to, you know, just sitting down and doing equations. I keep trying in my classes to make that connection between what's going on in the real world and what we're doing in our classes every day.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes a lot of sense.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Oops, you caught me. I was just finishing a text. The Norwood School Administration has revised the cell phone policy. Sienna sat down with Principal LaFramboise to talk about this new change.
Hi, I'm Sienna Hubner with Maverick News, and this is our principal, Mr. Law. So, Mr. Law, there's the new cell phone rule. What made you decide to change it?
A lot of the reason, I mean, the kids really have the cell phones. A lot of them need it because we live in a rural area. They need it to, you know, get a hold of parents after school, get rides. And there's a lot of technology with those cell phones we can use in the classroom. And we have teachers that are starting to use them, whether it's, you know, texting in some answers. They can use them as clickers. They can take notes on them. And all the kids seem to have them, so we want to utilize the technology. And if we want to have them, we're figuring high school kids should be getting to the age now. They should be responsible with them. So we're going to allow them to use them in the hallway, in between classes, if they want to check up on something, as long as they're not tardy to class. Kind of in that hallway time is their own time, and thought we'd give them a chance to use it, give you a chance to try it without messing up.
You're not afraid that the students will abuse their privileges and take them into class and just kind of disregard the rules?
No, what we told the students, and you were in that meeting, the students have to follow the teacher's rule in the classroom. So if the teacher wants you to turn the cell phone off and put it in a bucket when they walk in, then that's what has to happen. If they tell you to turn it off and put it in your pocket, then that's what needs to happen. If you have it out, then the phone comes to me and I call your parents and they have to come get it. If it is abused badly by a lot of kids, then we'll just take away the rule and we won't allow cell phones anymore. So really, and giving you guys an opportunity, take charge of that one.
Well, thank you. And thank you for the interview.
You bet. Thank you.
Blade is up next with all of the Maverick sports highlights and scores.
It's football time! Once again, it's on!
Welcome to Maverick Sports. I'm Blade Harrigan. The middle school boys football team has a new coach, but not a new coach to the Norwood Mavericks. Coach Greg King coaches our high school boys and girls basketball team, and now he is the head coach of the middle school boys football team. I spoke with him about his new job. Coach King, can you tell us about what your hopes are for this year?
Well, basically with junior high football, which I haven't coached for a few years, but I did when I first started, is you're trying to develop the fundamentals with these kids. Basically tackling, blocking, terminology, things that they can carry over into high school. We've got a good bunch of kids. We've got a lot of kids. We have 30 kids out. You know, we open up Thursday night here at home versus Nucla, and I know the kids are going to be nervous. We're just hoping that we can come out and do the things that we've practiced for the last 2 weeks.
Who do you think is going to be your hardest competition this year?
Well, you know, being new to the middle school coaching here, everybody keeps telling me Dove Creek, but I imagine Ignacio, Dolores, Nucla, I think they'll all have their own specific challenges for us. You know, again, I think the number one challenge is just to get our kids to perform and do things right fundamentally.
We have highlights from the middle school boys hosting the Nucla Colts this week, Thursday at our home field. The boys showed tough defense and lit up the scoreboard every chance they got. The sixth graders even got to play in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks totally dominated the Colts and beat them 44-14. The mighty Maverick varsity football team has been hard at work preparing for this year's season. And before the game on Saturday, I spoke to Coach Law about the upcoming game with Sierra Grand and the hopes for this season. Coach Phone Boys, can you tell us about this year's season and what you think about it?
Well, I can't tell you much about the season yet. It hasn't happened, but the season looks good. Kids have worked hard. We had a great camp. 2-a-days went well. Our scrimmage went extremely well. The kids are learning a lot. We have a ways to go. The season, it's going to be a good season.
His predictions were correct about the boys in blue taking it to Sierra Grand. The Mavericks caused a fumble on the kickoff. On the very next play, Mavericks' Brandon Kennedy takes a handoff from quarterback Morgan Rummel for the score. Weston Rasmussen had the game of his life with one touchdown, a reception for an extra point conversion, and an interception. When he thought Tyler Framboise has been tackled, he kept driving and managing to stay up on his feet to help the total of 349 yards of the offense of the mighty Mavericks. The Maverick varsity defense was keeping the tradition, holding Sierra Grand at the half to a score of 0. The second team went in and played a great game, led by the quarterback Clint Watt. There are 6 Telluride boys who make the trip over every day for practice, and their fans were here in numbers. It was a great day for Norwood football, beating Sierra Grand 56-22. The Lady Mav volleyball girls traveled to Colburn for the scrimmage on Saturday. They won all their games but were edged out by the always tough Vail Christian. The Telluride Norwood cross-country team traveled to Delta on Friday, where Ty Williams took first place, Cameron and DJ placed. Due to injury, Shelby Breyer will make her debut in the first meet when the team travels to Lyons for this coming Saturday. There is a lot of sports coming up this week, with the middle school girls volleyball team traveling to Telluride this Thursday and travels again on Saturday to take on Ridgeway. Middle school football boys have this week off. The high school volleyball team will travel to Ridgeway on Friday to play at 4 p.m. The boys in blue will travel to Dove Creek this Friday for a 7 o'clock kickoff. Good luck to all of our athletes and go Mavericks. This is going to do it for this week of Maverick Sports. Join us next week for all the scores and highlights. Until then, have a great week.
For our last story, the Norwood community came out in a big way on Saturday to support the boys in blue. Here are just some of the fans who came and showed that Maverick spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Get ready to rumble! ready for this? I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Yeah, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Give it up, go.
Welcome to the big show. Simply wait.
Thanks for joining us this week. Safe travels to all of our athletes traveling, and don't forget to join us next week for more of Maverick News.